Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wiryawan, and today I'm gonna talk about the benefits of having minimalist camera gear. Before we continue with this video, this is just a quick reminder for you to support my channel by liking this video, by sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. Thank you, and let's continue with the video. So today I want to talk a little bit about minimalist photography and filmmaking gear. If you followed my channel for a while, you might know that I'm a Micro Four Thirds user. So I have a few Panasonic cameras as well as some Olympus and Panasonic lenses. To be honest, I have at least a dozen lenses in my collection, which should indicate that I'm not a minimalist when it comes to photography and filmmaking gear. However, now with YouTube and social media being part of our everyday lives, where we check our smartphones every day, we see announcement of new camera bodies or lenses or new piece of gear almost every day. You'll be guaranteed to see popular YouTube channel promoting new piece of gear, or you might be scrolling through your Instagram feed page or explore page and suddenly an Instagram influencer is promoting another new piece of gear. All of these YouTube channels as well as the Instagram influencers really make the announcement very interesting, very pleasing to look at, and the next thing you know, you're under some kind of spell that makes you feel very tempted and interested to buy those new piece of gear. However, I'm gonna ask you to stop right there.
Stop right now.
I'm gonna ask all of us to break out of that spell, regain our consciousness, stop lusting on new gear, and start to go the minimalist route. Although I still check out my YouTube for new piece of gear, I'm no longer being tempted by the latest and greatest camera gear, or at least not as much as I used to. At least I no longer lust on the newest bodies or the shiniest new lens. Nor do I want to switch to another camera format just for the sake of having the latest and the greatest. Now, I don't say that I won't buy a new camera gear. I will admit that I'm still a little bit of camera hoarder, and from time to time there will be times when I need to replace old gear. But at least now I'm more conscious about my camera purchase decision. I can comfortably say that I'm more driven with my needs rather than my wants, and so far that has been very beneficial for me. So let me share a little bit about this gear minimalism. So lately I've been trying to downsize a little bit. I choose the gears that I want to keep more carefully. I only keep the camera bodies and the lens that I need the most, as well as some accessories that I might need. With that said, I'm trying to make these gears work with my requirements, and I really avoid buying new gear that only has a very specific purpose that I don't really do very often. For example, I'm forcing myself to use this Panasonic 12 to 35mm f2.8 for all kinds of purpose in my photography needs, and try to refrain myself from buying another lens that I don't need. I refrain myself from buying multiple lenses that have very specific purposes that I don't really do often enough. Hopefully you get the idea. The point that I'm trying to make is try to make use of the gears that you already have in almost any situation that you encounter. Get to really know them well so that you can use them for almost any applications that you need. That way you will fully master these gears and keep yourself away from the distraction of buying new gear. Here I want to show you my main camera, the Panasonic G85 that's already 5 years old, and I bought it 5 years ago when it's first launched. This camera is still my main camera for photography, and even though it's already 5 years old, I don't see myself switching out the Panasonic G85 for another camera because it is still performing just fine. And on this camera is the lens Panasonic 12 to 35mm f2.8 that's even older than 5 years old. This combination is not the latest nor it's the greatest. There's newer camera bodies than the G85, and the 12 to 35mm f2.8 now has the second version, which is better in almost every way. The newer version of this lens has better IS, has better stabilization, and is slightly sharper than this one. But I'm still happy with this combination of kit. This combination of kit can do a lot of things such as landscape, street photography, travel photography, portrait and product photography, and I am still very happy with the result result that I got from this camera and lens. It's just very good for what I need. It's more than enough for me. I really feel that more than 90% of the things that I do can be done with just this camera and this lens. And that is the essence of minimalism in camera gear. What I'm trying to say is, with minimalism in camera gear, you will focus more on the process and the end result and not with the gear. You can have the latest and greatest, but if you don't know how to make a good picture or good video, you still suck. Oh my god. Now I want to share 5 benefits of minimalism in camera gear. First benefit, it's obvious that you will save some money. You will keep yourself away from the temptation of having the latest and the greatest gear, because you already know that you can achieve more than good enough result with what you already have. You can then invest your money and resource in the end result itself rather than in the gear. You can hire a better model with your money if you're a portrait photographer, or you can buy tickets to somewhere more interesting if you're a landscape photographer, as opposed to buying new camera and lens, which doesn't really make the end result better. Second benefit is that you become better in your skill because of the restricted gear that you have. Let me explain that a little bit. I've heard some people say that a little bit of healthy restriction will spark a great amount of creativity. Now I agree with that 100%. I believe that by applying a little bit of limit on the gear that you have, you'll be forced to become better. With the gear that you already have, you will learn how to adapt to new problems that usually require new gear, and this time you'll do it in the hard way because you don't buy new gear and you force yourself to use just what you have. By doing that, usually what happens is you'll come up with some interesting solution that's very creative and will make your end result more interesting. For example, forcing yourself to use a wide angle lens to take portrait, or using a telephoto lens to take group shots. Oftentimes, doing those things will give you interesting end result. Third benefit is that you will master and specialize on the gear that you already have. You will know the restriction, limitations, and also benefits of the gears that you already have, and you will know how to bring out the best out of your gear to its maximum potential. For example, I use this 12 to 35mm lens as my all-purpose lens, and because I use this lens very extensively, I know the focal length of 12mm very well. I can pre-visualize in my mind how wide is 12mm. So if I see a particular scenery, I can already visualize how it's going to be in my mind before I even turn on the camera. That way, I can think about the end result of the photo or the video that I'm going to shoot before even I took the picture or shoot the video. And that is the kind of skill that will definitely benefit you in the long run. Benefit number 4 is that you now have less things that will be able to go wrong. You have fewer items that you need to take care. And when you're doing a serious photo session or video session, the less thing that can go wrong, the better for you. That might mean less batteries to drain up, less items to lose, and less items to fail. That is good because if you're in the zone when you're shooting seriously, you don't want to be distracted by your gear. And being less distracted means you're more focused, you're more agile, you're more productive. Last but not least, benefit number 5 is that you'll be able to focus more on the content rather than the gear. Now, when it comes to photography and video, content is king, and because of that, you want to focus your time and energy into your content. Try to be creative, take your time with composition, and just really try to make the end result as good as you can. You don't have to think about which lens to use, which camera to use, which light modifier to use, which accessories to put into your camera. Now you focus only on the end result, which means that your content will be better. Now that's all the benefits of gear minimalism. There might be more, but there are still some things that I want to share with you. Now you might ask, what if I need a specific gear because I'm doing this kind of photography or this kind of video for a living? Well, gear minimalism shouldn't be getting in your way of making great content and result. Gear minimalism doesn't mean that you unreasonably restrict yourself. The point that I'm trying to make is try to separate the need from the want. Get the gears that will improve your photography or video significantly for what you need. Not because it's what you want, and also not because it's the latest and the greatest. Be mindful about the camera gear that you're about to buy. Really base your purchase decision on the needs, not the wants. So that is all for today's video. I really hope that this video about gear minimalism is helpful for you. Please share in the comments down below any experience or thoughts about gear minimalism that you have. Also, please consider to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. Thank you and goodbye.